Kia ora, and welcome to Aotearoa on this new moon, the end of the year of the dragon for some, and the beginning of the year of the wood snake on our Chinese calendar. We are also approaching the cross-quarter point in our solar cycle between solstice and equinox, marking Imbloc, the birth of spring in the north, and Lammas, the first harvest in the southern hemisphere. So there's lots of cycles within cycles within cycles that are ending and beginning, like the Ouroboros today, the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega. And today is also marking an 18-month anniversary of Guardians of Gaia and where that has come. And it's really important for those that are new to this gathering, as the audience is growing both in person and on the replay, is to a reminder that the hosts here and almost all of the participants that show up for our gatherings every new and full moon are not only Gaian midwives, that we're also soul midwives, which is like a next level of soul midwifery when you start working with the planetary body. And as we enter this enormous time of transformation on our planet, where we are shedding skins like the serpent, if you are needing support on your personal soul embodiment journey, you will find the names of everybody who's participating on the recordings of these videos. And in the Earthwalk Project website, there is a page for Guardians of Gaia, which has Guardians of Gaia hosts details and connection details on there. And also under our practitioners, those who have walked through the 9-month mentorship of mastery of multidimensionality. You will also find their contacts there to find somebody who resonates with you, who you feel may support you on this journey home to self and sovereignty at this turning over of time. So let us begin by aligning the bodies. If you are just arriving into the field, you're welcome to stand, sound, breathe, and move as your body wishes. The reason for doing this is to create a coherent field within and without and between us and all pervading through the planet, so that what wishes to be shared may land gracefully and integrate gently. So let us align physical, mental, and emotional bodies with all pervading soul or higher self, and monadic galactic selves. Activating the Earth Star 1 foot, half a meter beneath the feet, and connecting through the divergent meridians of the planetary bodies, connecting with our physical elements, the rios de luz, light, ether, rios de agua, water, fuego, fire, and oro, gold, or mineral kingdom. And inviting those primordial elements in their pristine origins and infinite potential up through your own unique pillar, both physically and energetically, so that they may cleanse, clear, and purify. Regenerate and recalibrate, all the way up to the soul star, 1 foot, half a meter above the head. And as we activate the soul star, we're connecting with our celestial selves and the celestial elements and inviting them down to mix and mingle with the physical planetary solids, photonic solids, and activate our golden toroidal fields, harmonizing our golden toroidal fields with the golden toroidal field of the planetary body. Surrendering through the core of Source in the heart of Gaia, where the new true Earth architecture emerges. And surrendering unto that, softening. Allowing ourselves to be held and supported by the new Earth architecture, so that everyone we meet, everyone we greet, everyone we interact with or work with may also be supported in the frequency of the new Earth architecture that naturally dismantles that which no longer serves. Surrendering through the core of Source in our own heart spaces. Remembering the power of your own sound, song, soul signature throughout this process. Surrendering through the core of Source in the heart of the Sun. The gateway through which many of us traveled to arrive on this planet. Surrendering through the core of Source in the great central sun. And activating the solar discs for those of us who have solar discs active within our own system, harmonizing with the solar discs on the planetary body. Surrendering through the core of Source in the heart of the new moon. And in the heart of Theia, our original moon, parts of which are embedded in the African continent, and activating our lunar discs. And surrendering through the core of Source in the galactic center, wherever that currently resides within your system. Perhaps through the pineal gland, our gateway to God, the all-seeing, the all-knowing. And that part of ourselves that resides outside of time. Inviting our ancient future selves into the now. For some, that may have already located into the umbilical cord, into the umbilicus, or our belly button. Inviting you to inhale, exhale with sound as you strengthen and fortify your own unique pillar. Inhaling, exhaling with sound as we strengthen and fortify our own pillar with the point on the planet where we stand today. Once more, inhaling, exhaling with sound as we connect around and through the planetary body. Coming into harmonic, into the unified field of love as I hand you over to Casey.
Thank you, everyone. We're going to amplify our field of connection at this time. For all of you who have chosen to step into circle today, we are joining into that field of oneness where our hearts connect, where our solar bodies see each other, recognize each other's light, as we are all anchored in our individual pillars on the earth plane. As our channels are open, connecting down to Gaia, and they are open at the other end, connecting all the way out into the cosmic spaces. We are amplifying the field at this time, knowing that as we are connected together, we can reach out further. The codes can be distributed to the whole, that we feel this connection stronger. It's amplified in this field that we are standing in. We are connecting out to the galactic center at this time. our origin point, our grounding zone. That is arranging our internal and external compass at this time, our solar compass. Understanding that we are entering into a new wave, a new shift, as humanity steps onto the next cog, the next wheel that is turning through time and space. That our spiral is beginning to merge with the spirals around us, and that we are part of the biggest picture of all as we come back into harmonic resonance with what it means to be part of the solar time, the cosmic time. And understanding that as we have walked with the dragon tribes for this past year, they are not going away. They are still with us. We are just entering into a new wave, the wave of the serpents, the wave of transformation, transition. Welcoming into the field our star families at this time, our connections out to those furthest realms, and to the places where we call home, outside of the earthscape. Welcoming into the field at this time galactic Gaia herself, who wishes to be part of our journey always. Understanding that we are journeying with her, hand in hand, as we elevate together. Welcoming in the solar codes that wish to be part of the circle at this time, from our sun, from the great-grandfather's sun, 7 generations back, each one carrying their own data points, their own initiation, their own portals for us to remember and to connect back to source, connecting out now to the source fields, to the creation zones, to the beginning of all that there is, and understanding that we are connected to this field always. Staying in this expanded field, we wish to continue our journey together at this time, allowing which wishes to come forward through the circle, heart to heart, field to field. So if you are ready to begin your journey, we're going to add a little gentle movement to your body to anchor all the way in. Feeling the floor beneath your feet, feeling your chairs beneath you, breathing deeply into your bodies. And when you're ready, choosing to come all the way back in, opening your eyes, and we will begin.
Thank you, Casey. And during this enormous year of transformation that is upon us, we've been inspired to begin today's journey with honoring the directions. And when we do this, we're going to invite you to close your eyes and really feel into each archetype. And the reason being is that this year of all years will influence the entire cycle of Pluto and Aquarius, will influence the next generation. So it is absolutely vital where we focus our consciousness, particularly for the next 6 months and onwards. So our archetypes that we work with when honoring the directions, according to the red road paths of the Andean and Amazon traditions of the 4 winds that my system chose to remember through, know that we're exploring different perceptual states of awareness through which we can engage with reality. And this is so supportive, whether we're dealing with intimate relations or partners or families or groups or politically or communities, that we have access to throughout the perceptual states of awareness. So I'm just going to invite you to close your eyes and feel each archetype and what it offers us. From the winds of the south, Sachamama, mother serpent, soft belly upon the earth. You who teach us to shed our past the way you shed your skin. To move gently upon the earth. In our physicality, our sexuality, our sensuality. And to see everything is as it is in our physical reality. Come wrap your coils of light around us. Illuminate what no longer serves and support us to shed their skin. Now, in the winds of the west, Otorongo, mother sister jaguar, you who have seen the coming and going of galaxies, you who walk that rainbow bridge between the worlds, you who teach us to step beyond our fears and beyond the fear of death, you who teach us to walk gently upon the earth and see that not everything is as it is. Honoring our connection to our emotional bodies, knowing that through our emotions we have access to the elements, to the forces of nature that we are. Come join us in this medicine space today. Aho. From the winds of the north, Seraginti Colibre, a royal hummingbird, grandmothers, grandfathers, ancient ones, ancestors of these lands. You who remind us to be stillness and motion, to make that epic journey, sometimes not knowing where our next food or water may come from, but making it anyway, for knowing that if we do not, we will die. You who remind us to sip the sweet nectar of joy in this journey called life, in everyday life, in the beauty and simplicity of life on earth. We welcome you, your lightness of being that reminds us to pause and look at the bigger picture. What is really going on? How do we act consciously to change the outcome, to change the direction of the human race in the river that it is flowing? Aho. From the winds of the east, Apuche, great eagle condor, the place of the rising sun, the visionary. You who inspire us to fly wingtip to wingtip in unconditional love with our sisters and brothers as we dream our new world into being. Where our consciousness is focusing, energy flows. That's where we're creating. Come overlight this medicine space today. Illuminate our ancient future self so that we may remember why we are here at this time. Pachamama, the cosmic mama, Papatuanuku, Earth Mother. Upon this body where we walk with the stone people, the plant people, the two-legged, four-legged, creepy crawlies, fin-furred, feathered, and amphibious. Honoring all beings. And remembering that all species are evolving at this time. Giving gratitude for these bodies that we walk with and making sure that we take care of them during this time of transformation. Inti Taitai, Father Sun, Mama Kia, Mother Moon, the nations Geostralas, the star nations, Ranganui, Sky Father. May you support us in our remembering that we are from the stars. Support us in restoring our connection with our sisters and brothers and the aspects of our consciousness that are wishing to be reclaimed during this turning over of time. And coming into the center of our own hearts, the center of our own universes, reminding ourselves that we are the creators of our reality. May we create through the wisdom of the soul at the frequency of love, in collaboration with our sisters and brothers who are gathering and remembering themselves at this time. Guardians of Gaia was conceived in Marilu's garden in Tepoztlán, Mexico, in July 2023. Tepoztlán is known as the birthplace of Quetzalcoatl. And on this day, we are gathering. For some of us, it is the end of a 36-day cycle of the ninth wave. For some of us here in Aotearoa and Australia and Asia, it's the beginning of the next 36 days in the ninth wave of the Mayan calendar. And we are very fortunate to have Sean with us here today from South Africa to weave some Mayan magic into the mix.
Hello there, Leanne and everyone from Cape Town. Sending love to you all. High vibrational light and love. This is really what is emanating now and needed now for us to align with this emanating light. And so ultimately time, so a seed has memory. So does time have memory. This is what the Mayan calendar is working with. And this is where we are now in terms of this memory that is weaving everything together to bring time to fulfillment, to a place where we transcend the imprint of duality by healing ourselves within. So where we are now, as Leanne was saying, is completing 18 days of being in a night phase, where in the night phases of the ninth wave, generally it's like going into a valley or a trough of a wave, and so the light is in the shadow. And then we're going into the light phase from the 30th, which is where you guys are now. I'm still in the 29th. So, and this is a forward-moving sine wave of creation, and that cogs into the anti-clockwise movement of the 260-day calendar. And this is what most people work with, this 260-day calendar. And so where we are now on that is from the 30th, we move into 7 Akbal. And Akbal is all about transcending duality. It's the balance of light and dark. It's the beginning of a new day. It's actually the last remaining embers of the fire from the night before that is reignited in the new day. And so it's recreation of unity and dampen worldly ambition, and transcending time to give birth to something. So this is quite poignantly aligned to the beginning of a new 18-day cycle on the ninth wave. And in the 18-day cycles of light that we're moving into now, it's really where new downloads of cosmic memory are arriving to actually advance us on the ninth wave frequency. And so this ninth wave frequency, what is that? It's actually a frequency that was activated in 2011 in March 2011, when creation stepped up to the 9th level. And it was an amazing moment in time to contemplate. And what this meant was that before this time, according to the code and the memory of the code, the creation waves of evolution were living in a state of not being fully able to transcend duality. And now that this activation happened, the 9th wave has been activated, and the time waves that have been emanating since then are fully able to transcend the imprints of duality. So this is where we've been, and it's getting stronger and stronger. And what this is also doing, it's condensing time to literally create a diamond. And so this is really where we are now. This flawless diamond is being created. And we have the choice now, whether we're going to align with this or not. And this is the multidimensional, I suppose, shift of our consciousness into this place of the multidimensional. Whereas we've been living in a dense reality, now we're going to be moving into a very high vibrational reality, where literally we are going to be living as, instead of living as spirit in physical form, we're going to be living sorry, the other way around. Physical form in spirit. We're now living in spirit in physical form. So we really are at a point where we really need to look within ourselves and go to all those places that are uncomfortable and work on them, because this is the future. This is what is hatching now. And it's also part of all the different prophecies, the condor, the eagle, the cosmic egg earth hatching, Hopi prophecy, and things like that. So this is really also, as we were saying just before we opened this meeting, myself and Leanne and Casey were talking about how the energies are into the synchronicity, where the inner and outer is aligning. It's like the synchronistic wave of creation that is aligning the heart mind to be totally in resonance, so that we can surf this wave of pure unconditional love. So that's, I think, if you have any more questions, Leanne, or anyone, thanks.
Thank you, Sean. If anybody does have any questions or contributions to the field, we would love to hear from you.
Sean, you were talking earlier about how time has a directional focus.
Yes.
And as we're stepping into this more cosmic time-space energy continuum, what happens to time itself? Do we just follow the synchronicities that happen? What happens to our human selves as we're stepping out of human time and into cosmic time?
Okay. So yes, time in terms of the calendar, every day is a direction in time. Like, for instance, we move into the west direction for the beginning of the new 36-day cycle on the 9th wave, yet that is the anti-clockwise movement, but the 9th wave is actually moving into the east, because it's the first 9 days is all about the east direction, because it moves clockwise. So it is really a weaving, and it continues. We are moving into a time where we're totally transcending the influence of duality, where we will be living almost in a place of no time, but yet time, I feel, still continues to align to all these directions. But yes, we are definitely, there's definitely a need to still be conscious of it and work with the directions and understand the weave, because many people are following the calendar and in a way dogmatically, where they're just listening to everyone else and what they're saying and accepting and trusting it. But there's, I think, a need for us to go into those places to find out for ourselves, because that's where the soul really understands and gets it and activates its own truth in what it's seeing. And this is really, I feel, what the whole world needs to do in all sorts of fields, to learn and understand things without just accepting what other people are saying, because then the soul really awakens to understand itself. This is what I've done with my journey, and then I brought all the pieces together and I share it and I align it with the calendar. And so, yeah, direction, everything is about direction, and it just continues. Does that answer the question?
Thank you.
And something to expand on that, what Sean was just sharing, I see that happening on sacred journeys when we walk through sacred sites that our soul has walked through in other timelines. When we walk through sites with our own intuition, without a lot of knowledge of the layers that have been placed upon since, it starts to awaken within us quite naturally and organically our own truth and our own wisdom and memories and knowledge and gifts. And further to Casey's question, when I walked the land up here in Te Tai Tokerau that is calling to be a sanctuary for the next wave of incoming galactics with John and Waveney recently, I can remember John saying, wow, the energy here is amazing. It's just so expansive. It feels as though it's outside of time. And when I reflected on that afterwards, I realized, to answer Casey's question, when we start living with the expansive interconnection outside of time, we actually begin regeneration. Aging is in linear time space. And when we are able to reside outside of time, that regeneration has much more impact and influence on our physical structures. So there's some food for thought.
So I just wanted to add to that, if I may, Leanne. I feel it is important to give one a little bit more explanation in terms of the 260-day calendar and this anti-clockwise movement of it, and how it aligns to a calendar that moves clockwise. And that calendar is what you call the Tun, T-U-N, and that's a 360-day calendar. And so the 260-day calendar and the 360-day calendar actually interlock, and they're like gears. They are the machine, in a sense, you know, the organic, etheric, multidimensional machine of creation's evolution. I know the word machine sounds very mechanical. It's just a term. But I feel it's important to understand that this 360-day calendar is the one that is lost and forgotten. It's an ancient calendar, and this is what drives the evolution of consciousness to move forward. Whereas the 260 drives us to look within, because it's going anti-clockwise. So if you look at a planet or a celestial body, it has 360 degrees as an analogy. So ultimately, there's this is the spin of time is 360 degrees, and the 260-day calendar is the spiral. So these actually weave together. So if what I've said there, I'm trying to bring it through to a level of making sense and an understanding for people. So does that help in any way, Leanne?
Yeah,
Okay,
it does. And also, I'm looking at, if you look at Sufi spinning, Sufi spin anti-clockwise, bringing cosmic energy into Earth. So when I'm looking at the two calendars, the way you're describing them, it's where we bring heaven on earth, where spiritual and physical come into union and come into harmonic with one another. When in harmony with both physical and spiritual, above and below, heaven and earth. And it's really interesting when we look at the astrology that's laid out throughout this year of the wood serpent, how we're constantly going to be bringing, invited back to the 0 point. As we spin
another
out,
thing
we're going to get,
to-
we have these invitations all through the year to come back to 0 point. And every time we're invited back to 0 point, there's an opportunity to shed another skin so that we may stabilize into the 0 point, into the source field, into creation, with creation as nature and not separate from it.
Yes. The other thing I wanted to say, isn't the Chinese calendar aligned to a 360-day cycle?
I'm not sure, actually, and I say that it's not. It's aligned to the moons.
Yeah, but I think there is a correlation to a 360-day calendar. This is, again, coming back to ancient perspectives that worked with 360-day calendars. It's not just the Maya that work with a 360-day calendar. From what I understand, the Chinese calendar also works with a 360-day calendar, which would actually make sense.
So without knowing, just tuning into that, I get that it does. But how it does, I'm not sure, because quite often our Chinese New Year will begin in February. We're beginning Chinese New Year at the end of January this year. And next year, the Chinese year of the wood snake ends mid-February. So the actual time of the cycles is different than the 360 days, but at a deeper root of it,
Yes.
somewhere deep in the root of the I Ching is the 360-day cycle.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit like the Mayan calendar Harbor. It's HAAB, which is 365-day calendar. But in that 365-day calendar, there's 5 days what they call the Wayeb, which is 5 days out of time. So it's still, and this is the physical. So the 360-day calendar is actually a spiritual calendar. The 365-day calendar is the physical calendar, and that works with 5 days at a time. And in actual fact, in February is the start of the Mayan calendar New Year. So it correlates very close to the Chinese calendar. So it just shows you how these ancient traditions are so synchronized. And according to the 9-level Mayan calendar, just a quick reference to this 5,000-year cycle, which started 3,115 BC, that brought in the creation wave called the long count. And that was all about the evolution of the global mind and the illusion of separation. And that started to take us away from these ancient practices. And so with the completion of all these 9 levels to completion in 2011, 2012, the veils that have been blinding us have actually now are slowly dissolving and dropping so that we can see everything for what it is. This is really where we are now. And this is this multidimensional consciousness, which is gradually coming in stronger and stronger, and the beginning of this time of the age of Aquarius and all these things. So it is, I feel, exciting, when we get to understand these facts, that one can see, as synchronicities.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions or contributions to the field? John.
I think it's interesting to, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Casey. And thank you, Leanne, for that opportunity for walking that land up north. And it really was spectacular, not just visually, which it is spectacular visually, but the energies of that place are just huge. And you have to sit with them for a while too, to feel them in their fullness, and they're an ongoing thing as well too. And I certainly felt the power and the energy of the codes within that place as well too. And it's been an ongoing thing too, like just sitting with it in the days since then, it's been an ongoing thing. And the other thing, I'm kind of connecting with the guardians of the place as well too, and just entering in dialogue with them too. But the other energy, and I'm not even sure, I suppose, of the veracity of that, but I'm feeling a dragon energy there as well too. And that feels like it is a white or crystalline dragon as well too. And I keep saying, well, you sure? And it keeps coming back and keep coming back and keep coming back. So I just allow that energy to be there with its connection to the land as well too. So yeah, I'm certainly feeling this place. I really am feeling this place too. So yeah.
Thank you, John. And yeah,
it was
dragon
wonderful. It was really, really beautiful.
The dragon that you speak of presents to me as a crystalline cosmic dragon in its full rainbow colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really quite something. Thank you. Casey.
I was just going to say that it's interesting to me that we can't get rid of the calendars, that we need them all to come into sync, or we need to be in harmonics with each one. That we can't just do the spiral that goes in. We need the spiral that goes out as well. We need to have both in a mixture of the two in order to reach our full expansion. And I just thought that was important that Sean was saying that point exactly, that even though one was counterclockwise, it was still just as important as the other one that spins on the cosmic wheel.
Thanks, Casey. And as you share that, one thing that feels very important as we move into this time of mass awakening, that we don't get attached to any particular singularity. We're here to become the unification of all. And often on that awakening journey, people are all of a sudden find their tribe and attached to an occult. And there's no right or wrong, that's part of the journey. However, once we have embodied, integrated, all we have to learn from that experience, it's really good just to let go and make space for the next cycle of our own evolution, however, in whatever form that may come on. And I found that really predominant in the way I walked. Yet since then, I've worked with many who became attached to one or more certain systems. And they reached a stage in their evolution where we actually had to start unpacking all the initiations they'd had within those systems that had supported for a period of time, but it had created a plateau in their system, so they couldn't continue their evolutionary journey and their reconnection into their cosmic selves, because many needed you to go through an intermediary for that connection. So it's a really important reminder to all of us and myself on this journey not to get attached to any particular path, occult, tribe, club on the way. We are everything. There's nothing that we are not. So let us pick up all the pieces of our puzzle on the way and come into our unification, into our self-sourcing and sexual sovereignty, and serve from that space. So there's a lot of energy and information flowing through the field today. Any other questions or contributions while we're in this field? Or are you full already? Sure.
No, the other person can go first.
I think it's you, my dear.
Okay, I will just share that. Thank you, Leanne, for that. I agree what you said. It is important to just surrender and just, because it's the mind. The mind is it needs to understand, but it will never understand fully. So we just surrender all that need that the mind wants to the heart, and that frequency is unconditional. That's where the diamond, that heart resonance is creating the diamond, which is flawless, and there's no need to attach to anything, but just to be in that moment with what you know. and that's the infinite knowledge that of the creator source, that is the memory of time, that is the wisdom, that wisdom of the heart gives us the direction, I suppose. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. And bringing peace to the mind, or putting the mind in park, it does have a role as part of the earth team. Our physical, mental, and emotional bodies all have their role as part of the earth team, but it's the soul leading the earth walk. And when we can still that mind, it's very beautiful, because the inner child comes out to play in this wonderland and
Absolutely.
in innocence. And that's where the joy comes back into life. And
Yeah, I think the inner child is so important to remember.
Yeah.
So, jumping for joy.
Mm. Any other questions or contributions before we ask Talia, maybe if she has a contribution to the field today? Mm. Talia.
You hear me okay? Yeah. Oh, hang on.
Talia, just come closer to your mic, please. We heard you and then we lost you.
Ah, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Oh, this is a new computer, so maybe it's just wonder if I need to change something on my settings.
I think it's just your distance from your mic.
I'm just gonna connect. Move. Okay, I'll try again, and otherwise it's not meant to be. Okay. All right, let's give it one more go and let me know if it doesn't work. I'll cancel noise, change noise cancel setting. Maybe someone else can go and then I'll try and do that, and rather than waste time. Cancel.
While Talia's playing with her new computer, is there any other contributions or questions to the field? There's been a lot moving through the planetary body and our personal bodies in the last 2 weeks. And I know many have been challenged by this, as our solar winds have been whipping around the planet, and both water and fire have been doing their best to restore harmony in a system of disruption. And we're challenged with, how do we maintain our own center, groundedness? How can we remain in divine neutrality? Well, the planetary pantomime is in chaos. For it's never been more important than now. And it's also why we came here now. That us being here, in our sovereignty, in our palette, in that divine neutrality, without bypassing or disassociating, is really vital. And another thing I've noticed is that people are getting relocated now on the planet to a specific point. Sometimes some are actually still moving between many points, and some to specific points where we are being stationed for the next 2 to 2.5 years. So be mindful to answer the soul's calling, that internal compass, on wherever it takes us. And my feeling is, Talia, that so long as you're near to your microphone, I am sure that we will have sound.
What did you say, Leanne? As long as I what?
As long as you're close to your computer, your microphone, you
Okay.
come through loud and clear. You're just being invited to get cozy with your new computer.
Okay. I'll give it another try, and then let me know if it doesn't work.
Talia, come closer, darling. No, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to push pause. Oh no, it's not there, Talia.
I don't want to keep wasting people's time. Another time.
Thank you. Is there any other offerings, contributions, or questions for today's journey?
We can try one more thing. There's a
Take 3. Oh, God. Ti amo.
Interesting, you're coming and going in waves. Maybe it's the waves that were set up from all the talk about waves and cycles today. We have fluctuating waves through the field, and it's interfering with our sound system today. Thank you for being here, and thank you for doing your best to share your gift today. So any more questions or contributions before we bring our journey to closure?
I found it. Yeah.
Recording in progress.
On that note, I would like to hand you over to Casey to bring closure for our journey today. Thank you everybody for joining us physically in person, and for those that will join our journey later today and in the time to come.
Thank you everyone for joining the circle today. Just recognition that Talia's beautiful codes are already in the field, that she has already given her gift and we've already received it. So honoring that today is part of our journey. We will close down our circle gently as we step back into our individuated pillars, giving gratitude for the unified field which we have created, giving gratitude for the cosmic coherence, for our supporters stepping into the field with us today, recognizing that we are now stepping into the year of the wood snake and allowing ourselves to understand fully in an expanded level what that feels like for us, what that journey might look like. and opening spaces for that to come forward, allowing whatever transitions, whatever expansion, whatever death and rebirth cycles that wish to come forward in our own individuated journeys, as well as for the collective, as well as for Gaia herself. That we are stepping into a new wave, a new field of consciousness, and allowing all things to come forward to support us on our journey. With so much gratitude and love in our hearts, we will close down the circle at this time. Anchoring into our individual pillars will add some more depth to our human body, anchoring in fully where we stand on the earth at this time. When you are ready, add some gentle movement to your feet, feeling your feet on the earth, breathing deeply into your body, and when you are ready, choosing to come all the way back in.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you, Sean, for weaving in the magic of the Mayan calendar into today's journey. And let us pause and reflect for a moment at the last few Chinese Year of the Snakes. 1989, 2001, and 2013. For if we reflect on the changes and the transformations at those 12-year intervals of our life's journey, we may be or understand the potential, be inspired by the potential that's available to us, both individually and collectively, as we make our way through this year of the snake. Thanking everybody for their service to themselves, their communities, to Gaia. And to remind all who are watching this program, if you need further support, there are a wide range of guardians of Gaia, Gaian midwives and soul midwives available to support you on this journey home to self. It need not be cataclysmic or chaotic, so long as we are able to surrender. Let go of control and to surrender to the soul. Thank you for joining us. May you all journey well until we meet on the next full moon in 2 weeks' time. Much aroha nui from Aotearoa.